Schaitberger.
Well, I do apologize, Greg, and for all of you for having to change my schedule. I don't know how many of you knew Mike Fredrickson. He was a great AFF leader. He was an officer in his local for almost a quarter of a century, and an officer in the state council in Utah for over a decade. And anybody who knew Big Mike knew that this guy was AFF to the core. He fought a long and courageous battle, but he lost that battle, and I needed to go not only to pay my respects, but to share some thoughts and remembrances on behalf of all of you, our almost 300,000 members. And so thank you for rearranging the schedule, and I'm always concerned about blowing in, blowing out. I don't like sometimes the feel that, I got here last night a little after 1 a.m. and when I finish my remarks, I do have to head straight to the airport. I got to be in Boston later today, and then to Connecticut, and the travel continues. But I want to make sure that I do at least get a chance to come to each of our provincial and state affiliates, and to be able to at least share a few thoughts and a few insights of the challenges and hopefully some opportunities that we have before us in this work that we've all chosen to do. As I get started, let me express on behalf, and I'm sure Lauren may have, but if not, I want to make sure I express on behalf of your General Secretary Treasurer Tommy Miller his best wishes for a productive and successful convention and PEP program. Tommy, as you well know, has now held that office for about a year and a half after nothing less than the great Vincent J. Bowen. Vinny retired, and as you know, we lost Vinny a couple of months ago and laid him to rest. But with that, this IFF is 94 years of history and 94 years of leaders like all of you, each one of us, who get a chance and an opportunity to pick up the baton and to carry on the work of those that have preceded us. And although Vinny's legacy will be secured in history, an incredible journey and track record, Tommy's doing an incredible job. And someone, as you get to know him better, I think you'll recognize the value and who he is at his core, serving his country in Vietnam 2 tours as a very young man coming out of high school, and then immediately going on the Indianapolis Fire Department, following his father's footsteps. Himself holding office in his local for 25 years and ran the State Association of Indiana for 27 years. Elected in 2000 as the 8th District's Vice President, the largest district in our international, 730 locals. And all of that experience and all of that work has given him the ability to do the work on your behalf as your General Secretary Treasurer. So I just want you to know that he extends his very best wishes to you. And when we talk about all the challenges that we have and the work that we need to do, the work that you're going to be doing, I know later today, but the work of this calling that we've all chosen, I always talk about that, several of us get the opportunity to serve at the top of the leadership ladder in our various structures, whether it's a local affiliate, a state, provincial, or an international. But that's not how the work really gets done, because this job of ours and this IAFF is always really accomplished by good, strong teamwork. And we have an incredible team at the IFF. And I always talk about, Those of you who have heard me speak before, I repeat it because it simply is the truth. The table, 16 chairs around that table. And every district owns one of those chairs. And every district sends their very best to sit in that chair, to make sure that their views are heard, their goals and priorities are considered, to make sure they're part of the decision making that spends some $50 million a year that our members pony up every single month, paying the freight, paying their dues, not into some club or sorority or fraternity, but into this AFFA, a trade union. And all to make sure that hopefully their lives are a little better, their livelihoods a little more secure and successful. And so as you sit in those chairs, you look for leadership. And I look for those that I can depend on their advice and their counsel. And I can tell you that of those chairs, the chair that you hold is filled with somebody who is certainly one of the smartest, in a positive way, one of the shrewdest, one of the hardest working, takes care of his affiliates literally on the ground, understands the power of organizing, as well as the techniques of negotiating and arbitrating, is also someone who's serious, doesn't go along to get along, is willing to ask the probing questions, and someone who I've come not only to know over so many years as a great friend and a brother, but someone I can depend on for that advice and counsel, and trying to make sure that we hopefully make the best decisions on behalf of the men and women of the IFF. And so I'm always proud to be in the same room and want to make sure that I acknowledge the incredible work that your 6th District Vice President does on your behalf, and I think you're blessed to have him. That's Lauren West. Also doing that work, you know, we have an incredible structure and an incredible staff. And I know that you know all too well that Scotty Marks, as my assistant for Canadian Affairs, but let's call it what it really is. He really has, if you will, the authority and the flexibility and my confidence to really run our Canadian operations and to make sure that you, our affiliates, and our members are not only well served, but provided with the resources and the tools and the information and the education that we all need in order to do our important work on behalf of our union. So I want to make sure that to you, Scott, thank you for all of your work. You do a great job, another great trade unionist. We're very, very fortunate to have you on board representing our members here in Canada. Thank you. I'm going to give you a little shout out. I know it's like I'm going down the list, but that's what I do because people deserve it. You know, each of you worked so hard. And although he's not here, and I don't know if he made it or not, but to make sure that you know that Alex Forrest, your Canadian trustee, everybody knows Alex and knows how smart he is and thoughtful and experienced, but he's really brought a whole new level of effort to the trusteeship of our international. Those are the 3 individuals that are entrusted with making sure that the finances are well managed, well handled, well invested. And to his credit, Alex has not only taken that task very seriously, but now for the first time in 25 years has helped to basically force that they have the constitutional responsibility, the 3 trustees, to develop and prepare a very detailed RFP to see exactly who our auditors should be. We've had great work and a great auditor, but they've been doing it a long time. And I want to make sure that he gets the majority of the credit for understanding that as well as things can work over a long period of time, we're talking about those responsible for your finances. That $50 million plus in addition to all the subsidiaries of this AFFA, that we have nothing but the very best. And so congratulations, and I want to make sure I recognize Alex for his great work on your behalf and on behalf of this entire IFF. And our former staff person, who's now, I guess, just a rich lawyer. That's all right, Sean.
There's nothing wrong with being rich.
No, I saw Sean slipped in, and I'm never going to not make sure that I recognize his work, not only in the capacity in our Canadian office and running those affairs preceding Scott, but certainly in the incredible work that you continue to do across this country, making sure that the rights of our members are protected and that we fight on their behalf when injustice is done. You really do terrific work, and thank you for all that you do, Sean. Looking for a significant campaign contribution. I can take Canadian money, I just can't take U.S. money. So, with that, Greg, for you, Brent, and Brad, your team, again, the great work you're doing. I know that we all have our hands full. I know you've got the EMS consolidation work that continues to be a concern that you're focused on. I know that you're continuing to expand the cancer presumption, the number of cancers that will be covered in our presumption laws, and that's great and important work, a great benefit on behalf of all of our members here in Alberta. And I know that you were mentioning this morning that you're working on the standards and hours. That's important to our members that I was just learning about this morning. I try to know everything, and I'm learning a little something new. But I just want to congratulate you and the provincial on the work you do. It's important work, and obviously with the extraordinary results yesterday with the election that Scotty Marks was personally responsible for, there'll be a lot more probably focus, as we've always known the provincial body is so important to the livelihoods of our members. I suspect it's going to be even more so going forward over these next 4 years. So I want to make sure that you know that your work is recognized across 2 great countries, and congratulations to your efforts. Keep up the good work that you're doing. And I mentioned the election. Well, I guess we're going to see. I always have said that there's nothing more important that we do on behalf of our members than participate in the political arena. And I guess I've repeated this probably more than I should, but there's a lot of young faces in here, a lot that I recognize, some that I haven't had the privilege to personally meet yet. But I do remember a time when I used to come north of the border. It wasn't that long ago, maybe a dozen, 15 years ago, on balance, that when we come and talk about the importance of political action, I'd get these big stare, like, what are you talking about?